Everybody, it's your boy Pee Wee back with another video. Now, today I want to talk about the comic with my Netherworld Trillions game on. Very rarely am I actually like impressed, is like the only word I can really think of. When it comes to some of these like slop manhwa, right? Like usually, and what I mean by that, like that sounds a lot worse than it actually is. But like what I mean by that is when I go to read something like, just thinking of this name and then like the description, our main character, it's he gets like a system and he basically gets this ultimate tycoon where he just has a bunch of nether tokens, which, if you know how a money system works, essentially it gives them tasks, to complete. The task is to spend certain amount of nether tokens. Nether tokens in this comic are like the universal currency of the ghost world. The reason why that's important is because our main character can go between his actual world and like reality and this ghost world, and he just has 9 trillion nether tokens, which, as I said, is the universal currency of the ghost world. And he can use this to, just spend lavishly in the ghost world, use it to increase his power. A lot of people, he can pull out these like denominations of like 10,000, 100,000, and like the higher denomination you can like that you have or like can pull out, most people see as like a sign of like authority. So like he having all of this money and the system gets mistaken as someone extremely powerful in the ghost world, so people don't want to offend him. Obviously, a Chinese comic, there's always going to be people offending people who other people don't want to offend. But the reason why all this is important is because our main character uses this system and all these nether tokens to essentially cheat his way through the power system of this comic. You have human ghost commanders who can harness the yin energy and become stronger and stronger. Our main character can use these nether tokens to buy things to help him get stronger, can um, he uses the system, will give him like rewards like castle purification liquor. Some tasks in the future give him like contracts where he can have contract ghosts, like people basically serving him, and so he contracts powerful ghosts to essentially cover his weaknesses. And as he gets stronger and the ghost gets stronger, as he completes more tasks from the system, his power increases, the rewards get better, right? So he has this essentially cheat system. But usually, when you think about all that and you hear everything that I just said, you think, oh, it's going to be a brain dead, after like 100 chapters, it's going to just turn your brain off. And I will say the plot does feel a little wishy washy. It's kind of like reminds you of like me with my ADHD, where it's like the plot stays on point for, X amount of time, and then it seems to just get like sidetracked by something. Like the main plot, and then something happens on the side, so then it like goes with that for a while, and then at some point it's like, oh well, we can't continue this until we finish this what we were already doing, so let's finish what we're already doing. So then it like gets itself back on track, and then at some point it just gets off track again. Yeah, like it gets, like it's like the plot just goes, then gets distracted for a little bit, and then it realizes like no, it needs to go back to the main plot. So then it goes on the main plot, and then it gets distracted again. And a lot of there are like plot holes because of that. Sometimes it feels like whiplash. Like it's like, oh dang, we had to like 180 to back to the main plot, because we can't continue what we were about to do on this side because we haven't gotten that far in the main plot line, right? So it's like, I will say the plot is a little, in regards of like the timeline and whatnot, like I said, you get like whiplash sometimes. But overall, I think it was a really good comic. The art itself, looks fairly decent. It's not like overly exaggerated. It's not like overly HD. At like 100 like a chapter like 100 or so, like 180, it gets like extremely like the art changes, and like people were complaining about it. Honestly, I didn't even like know the art changed until I like uh until like just one moment I was like, wait, that looks different. So it's like the art changes, but it doesn't change too much. But like as you can see here, just like the art itself, it doesn't seem bad. But yeah, there's spiritual force, spiritual awareness. The higher your spiritual force and awareness, the higher level you become. Like level 3 is 350, level 4 is like 450, level 5 is 550. And like same thing with this, right? So it's like he uses his system to like get these like like these yin energy tools, and all this stuff to help with his cultivation and the cultivation of his ghosts, right? But I was genuinely surprised about how much I actually enjoyed this comic, and something that I don't think I've ever seen in a comic, like a system comic. It actually, at some point in like chapter 217, we actually get like the context of like how the system came to be, and like how it came to exist and everything. Like I'm not going to show everything here, but like we actually get explained where the system came from, where its power comes from. Like I was genuinely surprised. I was like, wait, an actual like system comic where the system actually gets explained and like where it came from and everything. I was like, holy crap, dude, this comic actually has like really good stuff in it. Like the art's decent, the plot is, like I said, it's wishy-washy, but it's good and entertaining. But we actually get like context behind the system and like where it came from, and like, oh my gosh, dude. I was just like, I was genuinely surprised by how much like detail and stuff actually went into this comic. And usually, when you're reading a system comic, it never tells you where the system came from or like how it came to be, and it never, you never think to ask because you just assume like, oh well, we started with it, so who really cares, right? But everything about this comic surprised me. I went into it thinking it was just going to be another dumb, brain dead, turn your brain off, entertaining, but like not actually like any sort of quality to it. But I was genuinely surprised about that it actually was really good, and I would definitely recommend reading it, even if you like get turned away by these like money systems or just system comics in general. Um, I do genuinely think it was a really good, and it's definitely like different, like when it comes to like plot wise, like a ghost world and becoming like a tycoon in the ghost world, and like it genuinely is a fairly decent comic that I would definitely recommend checking out. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about today. If you guys like, leave a sub. I'll have to see more of you in the future. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.